my book made it into the top, 100,000 on the entire Kindle store. It made it into the top 1,000 in its subgenre. I am absolutely epic. Or am I? Let's talk about that. Episode 87 of Horrible Writing.
Never work. You can't fuck with us. Seriously?
Don't.
Oh my God, that's another thing. That's bad. You probably should find other hobbies. You ever learn to stop? Be happy. While you're in Don't bother me. I've seen better things. Do you really want to? And my third grade. Give it up.
Welcome to Horrible Writing, the rawest, most candid, in-your-face writing show on the interwebs because none of us have time to suck. Let's do this. Hey everybody, Paul Sadie. I hope this finds you well. It is May in Washington State. That means it is time for the beautiful season. Those of you who do not live in the Pacific Northwest, from May to October, I'm sorry. This is the most beautiful place on the planet at this time of year. It's perfect. The right temperatures, there's no humidity, and I know you want to believe that there's always rain in the Seattle area, but you'd be dead wrong. Until the fall, it's going to be absolutely gorgeous, and I'm excited. So excited, in fact, that I'm actually going to talk about something that greatly depresses me. And I think many of you who have tried the game of indie writing, I think you're going to be able to relate to this. So let's try to help everybody out who are aspiring authors, who are working on that first book, or maybe have that first book out there. Or even those folks who have a book or two or three out there and they're just not moving. We can't tackle all of that in one short episode. I don't want to do those long episodes anymore. So we've got to talk about what we can talk about, and we'll continue to address this in the future as I talk to more authors, as I learn more myself, and I share with you. Rising tides lift all boats. We're all boats. So here we go. Here's the deal. The intro that you heard, yeah, that was me. That is me. I'm not going to lie. Checking the ratings on Amazon every single morning before I do my writing time. I get up at 4:45 in the morning so that I can get 2 hours of writing in at least before my workday starts. And the first thing I do, obviously, is let the dogs out because I have a little Chihuahua Rat Terrier mix who nips at my legs if I don't do exactly what she demands when she demands it. And a husky who likes to howl and whine until I let him out. So they have to be taken care of first. Then comes, of course, the coffee. Gotta happen. Mandatory item. I'm still tired, still waking up by the time I sit at my computer. So I can't just dive into RIP, the book that I'm currently editing. I have to do something to wake up. I don't do warm-up exercises or anything like that because I need to get more content out there, which is apropos to our conversation today. So what I do is I have Novel Idea to Podcast, 12 Deaths of Christmas, Chasing the Demon, and The Plant open in 4 different tabs. On Chrome, I leave it up all the time. Only close it when Chrome tells me it needs an update. And I go check the sales ranking, the Amazon ranking overall, and then for the categories. You know, when you scroll down and you can see all 4 of those listed for you. I've got an Excel spreadsheet, and I update those. Now, I don't do that for ego reasons. I do it for a strategic reason. Literally every day I will track at the same time of day. Except for the weekends. I do not get up at 4:45 on the weekends to run downstairs and track Amazon rankings of the books. But whenever I do wake up, I try to get it as early as possible to check daily and track where each book is in each of those 4 categories each and every single day. Put it on that spreadsheet, and then I annotate also sales information and anything out of the ordinary. For example, by the time you've heard this, you'll already have missed it, but 12 Deaths of Christmas went up on free on Amazon for the last time because its KDP Select enrollment period is ending at the end of May, and I'm not going to re-enroll it. It's not selling strong enough for me to keep it in KDP Select and keep it exclusive to Amazon. So I'm going to take that one wide. Things like ads on Instagram or Facebook. Things like new ad prices, new ad copy. I'll put that in the notes margins as well. And I trying to figure out when those sales are actually impacted, right? By looking at the rankings. But therein lies the problem. I do that every single day. And if you were to ask me to pull up my spreadsheet right now, I'd confidently show you the ranks for all of 4 of my books on Amazon. You'll also notice, if you could see it, that there are a ton of empty columns. And if you are aware, if you have the wherewithal to have situational awareness, you'll look up and you'll see that, hey, you've got pretty important columns on your spreadsheet that aren't filled in, Paul. What's up with that? And what you'll notice is that I have no problem tracking daily the ranking of the books, but when it comes to the actual sales numbers, I've got a lot of blank stuff. I usually go back about once a month and I fill those in. I used to always include a refresh on a cool little app. While I was doing those sales, I would pull up Book Report. If you haven't used it before, definitely do. It's very cool. And I would just look at that while I'm filling things in. Again, still waking up. I've been falling away with it just because I've got a lot of stuff going on in my real life. And there's a couple other things going on with the books that has really kind of dampened my fire for all of this stuff, to be completely honest with you. But today, I'm trying to force myself through the funk, and I try to pull it back up. And lo and behold, it is now the 8th of May, and I am dying when it comes to book sales. Nothing's moving. So I didn't go fill in my spreadsheet, but I did go back to my, not Author Central, but my author account on Amazon. And I started looking at the sales data for the actual books, and the books aren't moving. So my ads are dying or dead. I don't have a new podcast out there to constantly refresh the audience or draw in a new audience, right? Diary of a Madman is ending its final season here in a couple of weeks. It comes out once every 2 weeks, and it's got a relatively small audience compared to my other podcasts. And my other podcasts all ended, a long time ago, months and months ago, if not further. So there's no new content out there. I've pulled back from social media, again, partially to reinvest in writing because the job is more demanding and I don't have the time for it, and I don't have the inclination because the social media I did go on sucks. It just does. Twitter just bums me out. It really just bums me out. I enjoy Instagram. Come look for me, Paul Sading, all one word, on Instagram. Follow me. I'll look and see if you're an author. I'll follow you back. Tell me how much you love horrible writing or one of my books. I'll definitely follow you back because I'm not opposed to that. That one's a lot more positive, but I just don't have the time. The weather's getting nicer. The Achilles injury has brought on a bout of depression that I've been dealing with since Thanksgiving. Again, for those of you who don't know what Thanksgiving is, because it's not your culture, we're talking about November of 2018. It's now May of 2019. when you're stuck inside and you can't walk and you can't get around and you can't drive and you can't snowshoe and you can't ski and you can't do all those things you love and need to do, especially as someone who works from home, so you're inside your house day in and day out. It's not an easy period that I've been going through. So I've lost a lot of discipline. I've stopped doing those things that are healthy for the life of your book. And I have fallen into this fallacy of tracking my momentum and my success through the ranking on Amazon. I've got to stop saying sales ranking because technically it is, but that's the great lie of rankings. That's why I give you this personal anecdote, because I kept myself comfortable knowing that I was not doing the things I needed to do. I wasn't marketing. I wasn't just interacting with people on Twitter. I haven't been working on my ad copy. I haven't been working on studying ads. All those things I should be doing and know I should be doing. That's the clincher. I have not been doing. Now, it's not all, oh, woe is me, come out of your depression, Paul, and you'll kick ass. I am staying way too busy trying to keep up with this podcast on a weekly basis. The Horrible Writing Writer Support Group on Facebook is growing by leaps and bounds, and it's tough to keep up with all of it. And some of the stuff that's been coming up lately with it. The stories we tell. There's a lot more logistics in that show than I had planned on. So that's problematic. And then Crown of Thieves, I want to work on because that's my future, or at least the near future in my book writing, to work on that series. So my strategy is to start front loading the world, SEO, audience, fans, with this audio drama, this audio adventure in the prequel to those books. All right, so that's all part of the long-term vision of that show. But those things are taking away from the time I have now to do the things I know damn well I need to be doing. Don't be like Paul. Don't check your Amazon rankings and conclude, validate, solidify your opinion of how awesome you are. Because my sales have been so bad in April and May of 2019 that I can jump hundreds of thousands of spots and not have sold a book. It'll just be based on page reads. I have a good day of page reads, and I jump. And that big jump is because I'm losing the consistent sales. So whereas Chasing the Demon was consistently in the lower 100,000s, and I'm talking Amazon store, I don't break it down into categories because I'm trying to keep it relatable to all of you. But the lower 100,000s, and then it started slipping when I stopped playing so much with ads. But it's always stayed around, 100,000 to 200,000. But in the last few months, it's been slipping lower than that. And the other day it was, well, let me just look at it. Thanks to the magic of podcasting, I can actually pull up my spreadsheet and look at it. I mean, in end of April, it fell into the 400,000s. It came back up by the end of the month to the 200,000s. It stayed around there and it moved into the 122,000. And then it's been yo-yoing between around that position and 300,000 all through the beginning of May. And here's a secret. I haven't sold a damn copy. And that entire time it's all been page reads. Now, page reads don't pay me what I need it to do. I need to sell copies. And I'm mad at myself that I allowed myself to fall for the lie that is Amazon category rankings. Because I knew I wasn't selling like I needed to be. And I knew if I looked at the actual data, that it would confirm that. And what would that tell me? That would tell me, hey, dummy, You know, all those things you don't like doing, the growing list of to-dos. Like, look at the Fuzzy Librarian, BookBub, all the other ads, blogging more, whatever it is, writing or selling promos, writing actual blurbs, experimenting with blurbs and studying results, all those things that I need to do that I haven't been doing because of this funk and for other reasons have resulted in this situation that I now find myself in, where I've lost momentum, been losing momentum, and it means I've got to regain momentum. It's not going to be fun, all while trying to edit 2 upcoming books. Author and friend of the show, Tim Niederreiter, you've heard him as an interviewee on the show before. He was talking about his own experiences as I was sharing this on the Horrible Writing Writer Support Group, so come over and join us, about how he's been through that and what he found that helped him as far as the sales platform was a new release. And maybe that's where I'm at. And I don't disagree with him. I'm an author who has 3 books out. One is an actual novel. One is a nonfiction book about podcasting. And the other one, the one I love the most, is an anthology. And we all know, if we read and we listen to people who are doing, we all know that anthologies don't sell. They're very difficult to sell, especially single author anthologies. It's like a triple whammy. I don't have the catalog out there that I need to have a sustainable run where I could allow myself 6 months of wallowing in my misery over a stupid Achilles that really has impacted the quality of my life. I need to get serious about the hard things. So I ask you that. I ask you to do that. I ask you to be more real with yourself than I've been with myself. Don't cling to those rankings because they give you the warm fuzzies. Recognize that if you are, that's why you're doing it, and force yourself to go do something that day. So I'm going to do that tomorrow because it's 5 o'clock at night and I've been sitting in this office for 13 hours and it's 75 degrees outside, not a cloud in the sky, no humidity, and I just want to get outside. So I'll do it tomorrow. But tomorrow I'm going to commit an hour of my time to working on ads. I need to build ads and start testing them. And I need to do it more often. So even if you're an aspiring author, you haven't published anything yet, and you're still with me at this point in the episode, I want to thank you, but I want you to tuck this away. The day's going to come when your baby is out there for the world, and it's going to be getting its ass kicked. And you got to look in the mirror and ask that person staring back at you if they're doing everything they need to be doing to protect that baby. Because I'm not. I'm not being epic. And tomorrow, that starts changing. If you enjoy this show, if this show is helpful for you, please leave a rating and review at your favorite podcatcher and or Apple Podcasts, because that's the big one, right? It would be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated, especially if you've been here for a few and you just really dig what this does for you. I need you to come through for me and help this show appear more legitimate. Not that it's not, but you all know how it is. More ratings, more rankings, the more social legitimacy, validation you have. Also, if you want exclusive content, if you want to keep this going, I love Patreon support. It kind of pays the bills, so at least I don't have to worry about hosting fees. And you get extra stuff and exclusives in the future. There is no Patreon exclusive in this episode, but that doesn't mean that you don't get them from time to time on this show. Go ahead. Do those awesome things if you can, if you're willing, if you enjoy and believe in this enough. I really appreciate it. Heed my warning, dear writers, and keep being epic. This has been Horrible Writing, and hopefully after this episode, you suck less than you did at the beginning. I am Paul Sading, your host extraordinaire. You can find me over on the Twitterverse at Writing Horrible and over at paulsading.com/horrible-writing. Until next time, suck less.